I'd been delivering food for a while now, just trying to make ends meet. One chilly, dark evening, I got an order from Mr. Smith. Sounded like a regular gig, nothing out of the ordinary, so I hopped in my motorbike and headed to the address. Little did I know, this delivery would be far from ordinary. The GPS led me to this quiet suburban neighborhood. Rows of houses, all looking almost identical. I pulled up in front of Mr. Smith's place, a two-story, average-looking home. At first, I didn't notice anything strange. I grabbed the bag of food and rang the doorbell. A man in his 40s, maybe, answered the door. He looked perfectly normal, nothing unusual about him. "You must be Mr. Smith," I said, trying to be friendly. He nodded and took the food, handing me the money. That's when I noticed the first weird thing. He had this strange glint in his eye, like he was hiding something. And then, as I looked past him into the house, I saw it. The boarded-up windows. Every single window on the ground floor was covered with plywood, making the place seem like a fortress. I mean, who does that? Mr. Smith thanked me and closed the door quickly, like he didn't want me to see inside. But curiosity got the best of me. As I turned to head back to my motorbike, I couldn't help but notice the strange noises coming from the house, muffled cries for help, like someone was desperately trying to get my attention. My heart started pounding. Something wasn't right here. I stood there for a moment, torn between leaving and investigating further. Those cries for help grew louder, more desperate. It was like a nightmare, and I couldn't just drive away and ignore it. So, I decided to walk around the house, looking for a way in. Maybe there was a back door or a window that wasn't boarded up. I tried the back door, but it was locked. I could still hear those cries for help, but I couldn't figure out where they were coming from. Then I spotted a basement window with a small gap in the boards. I peeked inside and saw a dimly lit room with a few people huddled together, looking terrified. It hit me like a ton of bricks. Mr. Smith wasn't just some regular guy. He was holding these people against their will. He'd ordered the food for them, not as a meal, but as a cruel joke. My stomach churned, and I knew I had to do something. I couldn't just walk away from this. I sneaked back to my motorbike and grabbed my phone. I dialed 911, my fingers trembling as I told them about the situation. They assured me that they'd send someone right away. While I was on the phone, I noticed Mr. Smith peeking through the curtains, probably realizing that something was up. I had to make a choice. Do I confront Mr. Smith or wait for the authorities to arrive? Confronting him seemed dangerous, but I couldn't just sit idly by while those people were suffering. So I decided to go back to the front door, knock loudly, and confront him head-on. As I approached the front door, my heart was pounding like crazy. I knocked loudly, and Mr. Smith opened the door, looking nervous. I asked him about the cries for help, pretending like I didn't know what was going on. He stammered, trying to come up with an excuse, but I could see the fear in his eyes. Just then, I heard sirens approaching. The police had arrived. I stepped back, allowing them to take control of the situation. They entered the house and found the terrified captives. Mr. Smith was arrested, and I gave my statement to the police, explaining how I stumbled upon the situation. It was a horrifying experience, one that still haunts me to this day. I never expected such a creepy and scary ordeal while delivering food. It's a stark reminder that sometimes, the most ordinary-looking places can hide the darkest secrets.
Subscribe for more videos.